It's that time, 4:20, Friday afternoon, and I have the pleasure of having a friend of mine, Tony Greendalph.
Hey brother, good to be here.
An absolute pleasure having you here.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for finding your way through. We've met a few times in the early days at different events, and the one that we're going to speak about today is the Amber Cup. And you go back to some years to the beginning of the Amber Cup. Why don't you just take us back there and give us a little bit of an intro as to where and how it started?
Okay. Yeah, the Amber Cup used to be a industry event almost set up by Jules from the Dacha couple. It was had on the farm where he would invite craft extractors to sample their products, and then invite a few people onto the farm to taste and judge.
So creating a platform for what was a new, I wouldn't call it a fad. I think it's become far more than a fad, but yes.
Yes, in those days it wasn't as widely known or accepted of what a cannabis extract is, what a dab is. It wasn't that well known. And then obviously, sadly with his passing and the drive to hold the Amber Cup fell away after a while. So it hasn't happened for about 2 years now. I'm part of a team of guys who call themselves Medusa Dabs, instantly stoned.
Remember that name, Medusa Dabs, instantly stoned. I've been there.
So we used to compete as part of the craft extractors. And then this year, with the change in the dynamic of the cannabis industry, with clubs everywhere now, shops everywhere, we said why don't we get this idea of going around and getting people, customers of clubs and shops to taste and judge these extracts. So we went to Myrtle. Myrtle loved the idea, and we've rolled it out. So what's happening now is we're going around between, it's basically the rest of this month and September, all around the country, around Joburg as well, and visiting venues and allowing them and their patrons to taste, for no charge, these 5 samples that we've got from around the country.
Taste, no charge, 5 samples from around the country. So I'm going to just hold there for a second. If you don't know about DAB, want to learn about DAB, you should look at, and I'm sure we'll have the poster up, these are the dates you should be looking for over the next couple of weeks. Definitely reach out to the club and meet up with the guys from Medusa Dabs. We're going to head straight back to Tony from here, but look out for these dates and be sure to support, and you can learn a whole lot more about dabs. And there's a lot to be learned. It's a direction within the cannabis industry that I think you should watch this space. On the 6th of September is our turn. And I think just for date sakes, the one you can get to this weekend is actually to this weekend, Friday evening. And something about them is that each venue is kind of deciding when and how they'd like to have this. So some might be midweek that suit you. Some might be on a Saturday. Ours is on a Saturday. Friday night, there's one at the High Club. And on Sunday...
High Ground Boulevard.
High Ground Boulevard, pardon me, High Ground Boulevard. And then the Sunday is at Potato Hut.
Potato Hut
In Sasolburg.
Yes.
So there's 2 events that you can catch up and learn a bit about DAB. You'll certainly bump into Tony. He'll be teaching you what he knows about it, and there's a lot to be known. Let's just head on back. So you took this, you've taken what I think is much needed in the industry. Is dabs becoming a bigger thing, but there's sort of questions of how do you access it, where do you access it, what am I using, what am I smoking? And you've taken this and you've moved it forward, and I think going to different clubs rather than trying to draw people to one space is a very nice step into the right direction. So well done on that. And you'll end up at, I think it's the 4th of October.
Yes, the finals at the 4th of October at Chiba Academy in Rivonia.
Yes.
All the contestants will be there with all their wares, sampling their products. There will be a prize giving and a final judging. Anybody who's attending that day will also take part in judging the final event. There will be prizes, sponsors. It's going to be a full day thing. Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
We chatted just now about something that I think is quite fascinating, and one of the things that I really like about it is this isn't about a panel of judges sitting somewhere with an opinion on DAB. This is about people going to the day and being the judges on the day. So that's actually what happens. And you talk me through that. You've actually got a software that you use that allows people to participate as they want to. Let's hear about that.
It's a nice little interactive touchscreen display. You put your details in at the beginning of your first dab. It's an electronic, it's called the bomb. It's a battery powered dab.
Yes, I have one.
Thing. They're actually very efficient, and you can control dosage. I'm going to get back to you about dosage.
Good idea.
You can dose, and then the person tastes. Then there's a questionnaire, I think 4 categories. Simple, 1 to 5, they choose. And then they're free to obviously go around the venue. Nobody wants to have like 5 dabs in a row,
Yes.
And then they come back. They come back, and then they just put their number in, and it pulls up their voting sheet. They can taste the next one, vote on it, and as such. So it's sort of pretty easy.
You get access to the app on the day when you go and you register.
Yes.
Okay, brilliant.
There's a standalone unit that you just capture right next to the machine.
And you'd use it and do it on your phone, or you would?
No, the machine has got its own touchscreen display.
Oh, I see.
So it sits there, and you just type it in, and it's like a little station that captures information, and yeah.
Fantastic.
There should be, maybe later on, we're still getting it developed because we want to use it more often in other events. It should have a scanner soon, so you'll be able to just scan your ID, and it'll pick up all your information, load it immediately, and then ensure you're over age as well.
Fantastic. Yeah. Fantastic. I like that. Harm reduction must be, I think, at the core of any of the events that we want to have. And I think anyone watching this should take heed of that. Let's be practicing harm reduction in every instance. It's good for us to be destigmatizing and taking new ways of accessing cannabis to market, but let's stick with that being a central part of how we do what we do. So back to the story, and
well, Medusa now is the main sponsor.
Yes.
This is a marketing exercise from Medusa.
Right.
Straight up. We're not participating in the event itself. So after the people have judged and completed a judging cycle, then they are welcome to try some Medusa Dabs as well, no charge. There we'll keep,
I'm going to hit you with a no charge again, so definitely get down and
we'll keep a range.
It's not going to cost you anything.
And that's where the education part really comes in, because there we'll keep a range of terpenes, crystalline, THCA, and fat separated in the process. And there we can explain what is dab, how dab is made, what's the difference between rosin and dab, or wax and butter, and
fantastic. So it's not just a tasting session. There's a really nice backup to education, knowing where it comes from, how it's made, what the benefits are. I would imagine what the strengths are, what the variations are, and I think you touched on it earlier on, and you wanted to go back. There was dosing.
Yeah, this is one of the things why I believe, as my personal experience, why, and I've seen it with a few people as well. Once you start dabbing, you don't want to go back to smoking a joint, and it's not necessarily cheaper or easier, maybe in some degrees, depending on the way you look at it. But I think, and for me, what I found the main reason is dosage. When you have a concentrate and you take it in your balm, you can control how big it is. With 1 or 2 dabs, you can tell that much does this, that much does this.
Yeah.
If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And if you've got a consistent supply of that dab, you'll have a consistent experience.
100%.
When you smoke a joint, a pre-roll here, there, unless you've got a tree that you've grown yourself, and you kind of stand the chance of not having the experience you were looking for.
For sure.
And I think ultimately, as a user,
you want to be able
that
to
is the prime.
Totally agree.
Because once you've got control of your dosage,
yeah,
then you can
where your happy
decide how you want to
spaces,
use
if
it.
was such.
If I need more, I need less. Yeah, I need whatever.
Absolutely. I think it starts to just to talk dab for a moment is. I think you would start to almost get into the space of starting to look at how you could apply it medicinally through a smoke, knowing what is in this specific dab, what terpenes does it have, etc., from a medicinal point of view, that you can get to both dosage as well as preferred dab in terms of what flower it might originate from. And I guess to a point being able to actually integrate more than one dab to get an alternative result.
Absolutely.
So I think that it's rather than just get high space, I think dab has still got an opportunity into the future to start to find a really good medicinal space because of its ability to be dosage specific, I think is a starting point. So back to the story, we've got a good couple of stores that you're heading out to this year. If somebody wants to be able to join in, support the program, how did they get hold of you? Where would they get hold of you? How did they support this process?
The easiest and best response would be Amber Cup SA Instagram.
Okay, so Amber Cup SA Instagram. And we'll definitely drop that link in the bottom for you to be able to get in touch with him.
But one thing that I must say is this year, as the entries started coming in with the courier and whatever, we were just like, wow.